Hi everybody, I'm Penny of Whack-A-Witch Adventures. I recently changed my channel name because I didn't want to limit myself to only making videos about astrology because there's so much else that I do in life. In fact, for the past year, I have had 4 separate jobs, and for the past 4 years, I haven't really been updating anyone on much of what I've been doing at all. And part of that is because I have felt really kind of uncomfortable talking about myself for a lot of different reasons. A lot of it's because I went through some rough stuff and I didn't want to burden anyone with bad news. I had some degree of shame about a lot of the things I went through, and I just didn't feel good talking about it. So I'm at least now at a point where I want to move forward with positivity, and I feel like I've seen some of the light at the end of the tunnel and some of the rainbows after the storms. So I have some good news to share at this point, and I want to give you more background information so that you know what all I'm doing, why I have been doing as many things as I've been doing. Like, how the heck did I end up with 4 jobs? 4 jobs that I had at the same time, as a matter of fact, and why I've been kind of distant and not really going into specific details about what has been going on in my life for the past 4 years, and why there's this change in my channel and what has empowered the change, which I believe and hope will be positive. So basically, the last time I really made a vlog where I talked about specific details of my life was in 2014 in the summer when I first left my husband. So it was me and my daughter, who was a baby at the time, and I was explaining that we moved across the country, and that was essentially because I left my husband. Which I did for a variety of reasons. I thought at the time it might have been like a little break or something like that. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, but that was it. And I was moving forward with such confidence and gusto. Like, I really looked like I was brave and like I somehow knew what I was doing, even though I didn't. Because honestly, what happened is that I was thrown into the real adult world with very limited idea of what I was supposed to do. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, but usually they're not thrown in with a baby that they themselves are solely responsible for. Now, I love Jade. She was a planned pregnancy, and I always knew I wanted her, and she was the most valuable thing in my life, and I wanted to be able to nurture her and be a good mother. But I could not figure out how to support us. That was really challenging, like affording the cost of childcare and all that on top of finding a job at all in the first place. And then, you know, starting from the bottom with someone who had basically no work experience and trying to figure that out. Now, at least at this point, I had already started doing astrology readings. And when I first moved to Texas with Jade, I sold more readings than I expected to, and I made more money from doing astrology than I expected to. But I was basically sitting there doing it, like, not even full time, but I was working constantly, like creating content all day. And Jade basically just had to be like a super good kid. Like, I would sit there and I would play with her while I was creating astrology content and while I was doing everything else that I had to do, and it took a lot of multitasking ability. But I was really grateful, super grateful, to everyone who was buying readings and allowing that to work out for as long as it did. But I still had to be really tight with my budget, like super tight, comparing the prices of cereal and all that, and usually only being able to get oatmeal, which is fine. Oatmeal is good for you. You should eat oatmeal anyway, even if you can afford other things. So I ended up trying other things from there. And the first thing I tried, even though I basically knew it wasn't going to be better, I ran the numbers. I knew the cost of childcare, but I felt pressured because there are some people who felt that I didn't have a real job from sitting at home doing astrology readings. So I made what I felt was kind of a stupid decision. And I say it's a stupid decision because it actually hurt me financially. But perhaps there's good things I learned from it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I started working at Walmart for $7.50 an hour. And that put me further underwater financially because the cost of childcare and the cost of gas and everything, and then the taxes taken out of my paycheck, I barely had anything left from that $7.50 an hour that I was making. So basically this whole time I just like started, I had to put groceries on my credit card and I was underwater financially. And I had to figure out a better thing to do, a way to dig myself out of the hole. And that's when I did what probably any young female who is suffering financially would think to do. And I started dancing for those dollars. So, yeah, I did that for maybe 3 years total. And there are a lot of good things and a lot of bad things about doing that. Like any job, there are things you're gonna like and things you're not gonna like. But the thing with dancing is it's like extra super extreme. There's high highs and very low lows. Because on one end, you are getting paid to dance in your underpants. And that's pretty awesome. But then on the bad days, I would basically just come home and stare at a wall. Like I wouldn't know what to do. I would just stare at the wall for like 6 hours. Like what the heck just happened? So yeah, I had mixed feelings about doing that. I was very excited that it allowed me to be able to support my daughter and I. I paid off our credit card. I was able to buy a new laptop when my last laptop had stopped working. So if I hadn't been dancing, basically I would not have been able to afford to keep making YouTube videos at all. And I started like funding my YouTube channel through dancing. But about 6 months in, I got to a point where something super bad happened and I didn't want to have to do it anymore. But I still had to keep doing it because I was the only person providing for myself and my daughter. Now, I don't want to be like too depressing or too grim with this, and that's honestly why I haven't shared it before. So I want to assure you that everything worked out okay, and I really wish I could say this in a like more lighthearted or funny way, but there's a lot of stuff about this that just like was not funny and was not happy and was not pleasant. So I basically kept doing it for as long as I could until I hit a complete breaking point, which maybe because I'm a lunar Capricorn, that's like what helped me get through it for as long as I could. I mean, we all just kind of use what we have. Perhaps if I was a lunar Pisces, I would have used my imagination more to try to find a way to enjoy it more. But as a lunar Capricorn, I feel like my approach was like, suck it up, put on a happy face, like suffer through it, pretend it's okay, no matter how not okay it is. Never admit your weaknesses. Never show your shame. Always carry yourself with the Leo pride that you know you have. And I pushed through it for like another year at that point. So I had been dancing for about a year and a half before I quit for the first time. And the way I quit was very dramatic. It was very definite. And it basically sealed the deal that I most certainly would not be coming back and would not be allowed to come back either. And I didn't want to come back. So that wasn't really a bad decision on my part. You know, probably the fact that it was ensured that I wasn't able to come back at that point was a good thing. So from there, I had to like kind of become a traveling gypsy woman, and I found people to stay with. I found ways that I could pay them rent without actually having income to pay them with. you know, perhaps I could like buy them some groceries or something. But again, I was suffering financially a good deal. We were essentially homeless, aside from the fact that we had loving friends who treated us like family and let us stay with them. So during this period of homelessness where I was dependent on other people, where I was dependent on my friends who, as great as they are, I felt should not have had to be responsible for me. I felt guilty that other people had to be responsible for me. And I wanted a way to ensure that that was not going to happen again. So I was really in a rut. I was trying to figure out anything I could, finding a way to get out of this situation. I decided to go back to college, which was actually the second time I had been to college. And this time I went for something that I chose just based on the pay and the fact that I felt it was almost guaranteed that I would be able to get a job in the field, which the medical field is pretty reliable, right? So I started working on my degree in healthcare management. I was going through college for a little over a year. I think it was like 18 months or something like that. I just got my associates. So yeah, I have an associate's in healthcare management now. And I have worked in the medical field a little bit. Medical administration, to be specific. Ugh. And basically for the year that Jade and I were living with other people, I felt so panicked and like I just had to do everything I possibly could. And I was still uploading YouTube videos at the time, but my YouTube channel kept like taking hits and my pay kept getting cut from YouTube, causing me to suffer financially more. So it's like no matter what I did on YouTube, it was not working out. So that was really hard. And also during that time, I was continuing to pursue martial arts. I love martial arts. I am insanely passionate about it. I feel like it's one of the saving graces in my life. Martial arts is one of the, at certain points in my life, martial arts has been the only thing that has given me hope and has given me the will to keep living and keep thriving. Because I've had some situations where when I was really young, I didn't know how to defend myself. And then I've had other situations when I was older where people did assault me and I was able to defend myself. And as traumatic as that was and how I wish I didn't have to do it, I'm still really glad that I was able to do it. And again, I feel like martial arts just saved me. Martial arts was everything. And it was actually in one of the strip clubs that I worked at where I was exposed to boxing, because the whole time I was growing up, I didn't know what boxing was. My parents didn't let me watch that kind of thing, you know, because it's violent or whatever. But I saw boxing and it was so inspirational to me and it gave me hope. So for the year that I was staying with friends, one of the things that I spent a lot of time doing in order to keep me encouraged about life and motivated in school, as well as, you know, like in my career and any endeavors I pursue, is boxing. So yeah, that's always been really important to me. I also got my certification to teach fitness classes at that time. So I am a fitness instructor. I have an Associate's of Science in Healthcare Management. So those were two of my jobs for this past year, this past year has been the year that followed my year of homelessness. So yeah, for a while I was working 4 jobs. I was here doing my astrology readings from home. I was teaching fitness classes. I was working a medical administration job, and all of these were part-time and still not paying enough for me to be able to support Jade and I financially, while still being able to afford childcare. So I had to go back to dancing as well. I didn't dance for like a full year at this past year. But I did have to go back to dancing, and that's part of the reason why I moved across the country again, because I wanted a better environment to dance in, where they cared a little bit more about trying to protect the dancers than they did in Texas, because Texas is one of those states that can be pretty freaking bad for dancers. It's not necessarily well, it's definitely not a safe place to work, I would say. Some towns and cities in Texas are going to be better or worse than others, but I don't feel that Texas is a very safe place for dancers. But probably no matter where you go, it's going to have some degree of danger. Working in a club, even if it was just like a nightclub, it can be dangerous. There's bad people who come into those kinds of places. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past 4 years. I really wish I didn't have to give you the bad news at all, ever, but I did want to try to catch people up. I don't usually feel like there's a lot to be gained from keeping secrets. I feel like it's better to, let people know what you're going through, so that you're not alone, and so that we can all learn from the world and what is going on around us. But for the time being, I just had kind of closed down, and I felt like I needed to keep it all private. So it makes it harder because I feel like I put myself in a rough place emotionally. It makes it harder now for me to try to share the good news. And the good news, in my opinion, is, I had gotten a degree in something that I really didn't want to do to begin with, and I basically pushed myself to do it because I felt like it would be a way for me to, for sure, be able to make money. Well, it turns out that wasn't true. So the fact that that wasn't true actually allowed me, even though it's bad news financially, it allowed me to kind of sweep that out of the way and be like, okay, forget that. I'm not going to waste my time with that anyway. If it's not going to be the solution to my problems, it's not something I really wanted to end up doing anyway. So what I've been focusing on mostly now is being a fitness instructor. And the even better thing is that I have started opening up opportunities for myself to teach martial arts classes. So that's like, to me, the best thing I could ever do. I've always wanted to find a way to help people. And the first way I did that was through emergency medical training. And that didn't work out for me. And I tried to come back to it. I actually applied to the fire department recently, and I did all the testing and stuff for them. But again, it didn't seem like it was the right way for me to help people because I didn't get through the program and I didn't get hired. I passed everything as far as I know, but they didn't actually hire me. So yeah, it looks like I'll be able to actually teach martial arts classes, and I'm pursuing my fitness career a lot more. I feel like fitness and exercise has changed my life so much. It has inspired me to be the best version of myself. It has helped me get through the hardest times in my life. And I want to be able to share that with other people too. I want other people to feel empowered. I want people to feel like they have the ability to protect themselves. And this, I believe, is my way of doing this. So now I'm hoping to upload some fitness videos to my channel. Now, I am going to start with making it astrology related. I actually made a full workout routine for each of the 12 Mars signs, and I have perfected them and practiced them all on my own here. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to start recording and uploading them soon. But in terms of actually making them like high quality and being able to edit them and stuff, I would need to like purchase and pay for more things like a videographer and an editing software, and make sure I have all the proper lighting and tools that we need. So that costs more money. And I kind of, I don't want to make the same mistakes that I made in the past with my astrology videos, where I just paid for everything out of pocket, and then a lot of times I didn't really see any reimbursement through it, especially since YouTube has been through some changes as well. So I'm trying to find out the right way to do all of this. But I am really excited about the changes that have been going on in my life. I hope I can share more of them with you. And trust me, there are a lot of happy endings or happy resolutions of a lot of the problems I have faced in life. And I'm really happy lately. Like, things have been going well for me. So I hope that you will see that and you will benefit from more of the positive energy that I'll be able to bring to my channel now. And maybe I'll make another vlog about other things that have been going on in my life if you guys are interested. But please check the description below if you are interested in supporting me on Patreon and making sure that I'm able to upload the videos for the series I've been working on for the Mars workout signs. And there's some other series that I had worked on before that I had to throw out the window because I just did not have the resources in order to be able to do them. And one of them that I was doing actually ended up hurting my YouTube channel. You probably know which one that is if you've been following my channel for a while, but I've posted on Facebook that I have not been able to continue that series. Well, if I can get funding through Patreon, I might be able to do that later on, but right now I'm just trying to get the workout videos uploaded because those will be more YouTube friendly. So anyway, thank you for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.